Planning to head out on the water this holiday weekend, the Chatham County Police Department's Marine Patrol is urging boaters to stay safe. Officials remind operators born after 1997 must complete the Georgia Boater Safety Course before driving any power vessel or personal watercraft. There must be one life jacket for every person on board, and children under 13 are required to wear one. Boating under the influence of drugs or alcohol is illegal in Georgia. Authorities also say to file a float plan, let someone on land know where you're going and when you expect to return. At night, vessels must have proper working navigation lights. And if you run into trouble, officials say don't wait until dark. Call for help early so you can be found quickly. The South Carolina Department of Natural Resources is helping boaters stay safe this weekend with free vessel inspections. Inspectors will be in Beaufort County on May 23rd at the Battery Creek Boat Landing and on May 24th at the Lemon Island Boat Ramp. Officials say if any safety issues are found, boaters will not be cited as long as the problem is corrected before launching. Hundreds of volunteers are honoring fallen service members this Memorial Day weekend through a powerful tradition at the National Museum of the Mighty 8th Air Force. Volunteers travel from across Georgia, including as far away as Atlanta, to help install thousands of flags for the museum's Flags for the Fallen display. The annual event places more than 26,048 star flags across the grounds, each representing an airman of the 8th Air Force who never returned home from World War II. Since 2020, the tradition has grown, with the local groups including South Effingham High School's Navy Junior ROTC returning year after year to assist.
It's our last day of school, so it's our last big community service project. It's so much military history and heritage, teaching them about honoring and remembering those who've gone before us.
With each flag placed, organizers say the goal is simple: keep the memory of the 26,000 airmen alive for future generations. New developments in an officer-involved shooting in the Lowcountry. SLED will not recommend charges against a Hardeeville police officer in the January shooting death of Jaden Holloway Caldwell. Investigators say Holloway Caldwell was caught breaking into a car at a motel before fighting with officers trying to take him into custody. During the struggle, one officer was shot in the leg. SLED says another officer then saw Holloway Caldwell point a gun at him and opened fire. Holloway Caldwell was shot and later died from his injuries. Surveillance video and the investigation supported the officer's account of what happened. New tonight, a trial date has now been set in one of the deadliest boating crashes in recent local history on the Wilmington River. The case against Mark Stiegel, accused in the 2022 Memorial Day weekend collision that killed 5 people, is now scheduled to move forward with a trial date for June 23rd. He is now facing multiple felony charges, including 10 counts of homicide by vessel, operating under the influence and reckless operation of a vessel. The deadly crash happened in May 2022 on the Wilmington River when 2 center console boats collided near Richardson Creek and the Oatland Island area. 9 people were on board the 2 vessels at the time. 5 people died, including 4 members of one family. A Chatham County man once charged with felony murder in a 2022 shooting death has now taken a plea deal. He pled guilty to aggravated assault and was sentenced under Georgia's First Offender Act, despite being arrested multiple times while out on bond. WSAV Sarah Smith spoke with a local attorney who questions why the suspect was granted bond after those arrests.
I am kind of surprised the judge didn't put him back in immediately if he got one arrest while he was out on bond on that charge.
Attorney Michael Schiavone says he was shocked to hear that 25-year-old Sean Antonio Campbell Jr. was granted bond over and over with a pending felony murder charge related to the death of 42-year-old Timothy Lewis on Newcastle Street in 2022. But Campbell entered a guilty plea for a lesser charge, aggravated assault with a 10-year probation. According to his attorney, Campbell didn't mean to shoot the victim, who was like a second father to him.
It only takes probable cause to arrest. It takes beyond a reasonable doubt to convict. So, I would assume that once that case got after indictment, the state realized that the evidence was so weak that rather than take a chance that he might be found not guilty at trial, you compromise and you get him under some kind of sentence. If you really believe that he committed the offense.
The attorney says the family agreed with the lesser plea and Campbell was given first offender treatment. Judge Lisa Colbert shared that this was not an easy decision as Campbell is currently facing charges for 3 other violent crimes, including allegedly strangling a woman in February of this year. But Schiavone says judges have to presume innocence.
Trial lawyers, we live on the facts, we die on the facts. And the government has the burden of proof. They have to prove the allegations beyond a reasonable doubt. That's a very heavy standard. And just because you get arrested doesn't mean that the government has the evidence to prove it.
That was Sarah Smith reporting. Campbell pled not guilty to the February 2026 aggravated assault and requested a jury trial. We do want to remind you, judges set bond, not the district attorney's office. The Coastal Empire is mourning the loss of Ogeechee Judicial Circuit District Attorney Robert Busby. The circuit confirmed Busby died this morning. He represented Bullock, Effingham, Jenkins, and Screven counties after being elected in 2024. The Bullock County Coroner's Office has confirmed his death, but says the cause and manner will be determined by the GBI Medical Examiner's Office. However, Busby is believed to have suffered a heart attack while working out. Local leaders across the circuit are now sharing their condolences and reflecting on his service to the community. Georgia law says Busby's chief assistant district attorney, Jillian Gibson, will serve as interim district attorney until a replacement is appointed. Days after Tuesday's primary, the 2 Democratic candidates in Georgia's 1st congressional district are shifting their focus to the runoff. Joyce Marie Griggs and Amanda Hollowell are now working to win over voters across the district. WSAV's Isabella Baez spoke with both candidates about their path forward.
Tuesday night, Georgia's 1st congressional district Democratic candidate Joyce Marie Griggs received 34.45% of the votes, and Democratic candidate Amanda Hollowell following right behind with 24.66%. And now both candidates are working to get the votes of those who might have not chosen them the first time around.
But let me be clear, the battle is not over. The attackers are already live.
Griggs held a press conference Friday evening to address voters. She touched on the past as it is not her first time running. Most recently, she ran in 2022. Griggs also took a moment to address her disbarment as she was a former trial lawyer, saying she knows it might be used against her.
You've heard it before. Miss Griggs was disbarred. But what my opponent's campaign refused to tell you are all the facts. They won't tell you that powerful entities weaponize the justice system in an effort to silence me.
Meanwhile, Hollowell says she's excited and remains hopeful as she heads towards the runoff election. She says in part, quote, "It matters who serves Congressional District 1. It's understandable that for many voters, looking at the primary ballot was a lot. And sometimes it's easy to go for the name that people recognize. Name recognition from running multiple times before does not automatically mean someone is the best candidate." Both candidates say they are willing to reach across the aisle to get the votes they need to win. Hollowell saying she has the track record of being community rooted and will continue developing relationships with people across the district. And Griggs saying living and working in the district helps her understand what the people need. Republican candidate Jim Kingston automatically heads to the general election as he got more than 50% of the votes. As well as WSAV News 3 on your side.
The South Carolina Senate has rejected another effort to fast-track congressional redistricting with pushback from both sides of the aisle. 6 Republicans, including Beaufort Senator Tom Davis, joined Democrats in voting against the measure, leaving it short of the 2/3 majority needed to pass. The vote could delay any changes to the state's 7 congressional districts until after next week's primary elections. Republicans have pushed to redraw the 6th district, currently represented by Congressman Jim Clyburn, South Carolina's only Democratic member of Congress. The special session on redistricting will continue tomorrow, starting at 10 a.m.